guys, so we'll be heading out to Moku Manu today. Literally one of the best places to dive on the island. The weather window only opens up once every blue moon, so we're really excited to get out there. Sun's just rising now, so we'll be picking everybody up, then putting the boat in the water. See you out there.
Oh my gosh, is that scaff? Is that scaff? It is scaff.
This day was the sort of dive day that you look forward to for weeks, if not months. This weather window is so rare, and the fact that we were able to get this many people coordinated and out there on a day off is extremely lucky. We had the best weather that you could have possibly hoped for, which is great not just for the dive, but for the ride out there, because it is about a 45-minute to an hour ride from Haiea Harbor to Moku Manu. And if it's rough out, it makes it so much harder. But once you're there, you are completely enraptured by these just stunning view of this unearthly island that's just kind of jutting out of the ocean with huge flocks of birds flying around, not just on top, but they seem to roam the perimeter, and even as you see here, they go inside the cave and they'll chase you around while you're in there. It's honestly a crazy feeling being here just for so many reasons, but the birds, the sun seems brighter than normal, even when compared to Hawaii. But then when you're here on a calm day, just it feels like the entire world is glowing. It's absolutely incredible.
Leland, you should undo all that first before you.
I would describe the first few moments of being underwater in an environment like this as an absolutely spiritual experience. You're transitioning from the sort of unearthly surroundings that I described earlier to what is actually an entirely different world. You're floating through, and it kind of feels like you're flying. And not only that, but you never know what you're going to see when you round each corner, because you're in an environment that is not your own. You don't know what calls this home. So the cave that we're going into now is an excellent starting point for a dive at Moku Manu, because not only is it an easy to find landmark from the surface, it's also an easy to find landmark when underwater. And it's also a fun place to start the dive because there's often a lot of unusual marine life inside of the cave. This time we did find some baby whitetips that were resting in there, and so we got to see them, and it was a great way to start the dive. So this was actually one of my favorite parts of the dive. We saw a monk seal underwater that was so curious about what we were doing, and he would come up to most of the divers while we were underwater and just kind of check us out and then swim off. And of course, we kept a respectful and legal distance from them, not only because they're endangered, but because they can be aggressive when they feel threatened. I really enjoy places that have not only a lot of marine life that can be interesting, but also landscapes that are fun to be in. And that's another great thing about Moku Manu, is that it almost feels like a playground that you're flying through. So I first heard about this cave probably about 6 months ago, and that was before the weather window opened up for our first trip. And so when we went, we spent a couple hours looking for it and weren't able to find it. So when we swam into this huge opening and then looked up to see the sun cascading down through the cathedral, it was so awesome. After we finished diving for the day, I think everybody in the group was just glowing for maybe days afterwards. I know at least hours. We just couldn't get over how amazing of a day that we had gotten to have out here. And so it was just so awesome to be able to share that with each other and kind of almost immediately reminisce on the way back and then while we were washing out all our gear. So this is definitely a day that I'm gonna look back on for a long time very fondly.
I got one.